Song Changji extended his hand, making threads emerge. He began to observe Zai Zhenyu with an arrogant expression and could not help but smile. Everyone was in shock to see that he had 2 classes of divine level, being an unprecedented legend in the history of Darkseer. Not even Emperor Yingji back then had such talent. Xing and the others finally realized why Yun Junshan had acted unusually and had refused to form an alliance with them. Yun Junshan's eyes filled with joy. He extended his hand and, with an arrogant smile, apologized for not taking them into account, revealing that he did not consider anyone present important. According to him, Jiang Wuxian, Jiang Qin, and Ying Jian were all trash compared to Song Changji. Zai Zhenyu's father's eyes widened in surprise and fear as he realized that this time the Modu war zone was in danger. He began to sweat. Although he was not concerned about winning or losing, he was worried about his daughter's safety. Yun Junshan stood up, closed his eyes, and started laughing like a maniac, believing that this time his war zone would win. Du Caxon turned to the father and with a calm expression asked him not to pay attention to Yun Junshan's nonsense, since Jiang Qin was already on his way to help Zai Zhenyu and the others, revealing that the defeat was still uncertain. Zai Zhenyu, who was holding the bow, raised it into the sky. Hua Yanfei and the others extended their hands and created a barrier. The eyes of one of the girls widened in panic. She turned around and with a nervous expression explained to the captain that the illusory shadow of the extreme flame bow was weakening. One of the men who was invoking the barrier began to sweat and with a nervous gaze explained that he would not be able to hold on much longer. Zai Zhenyu's eyes were full of exhaustion. She began panting heavily without knowing if Modu's war zone would be annihilated. She had been training hard for this competition and wanted to impress Jiang. Just then, Hua Yanfei extended his hands and used the technique to summon the spirit of the night. Blue energy emerged from his body and transformed into a powerful knight. Zai Zhenyu's attention was fixed on him. With a worried and surprised expression she asked what he was doing. Hua Yunfei's eyes began to shine with determination. He swore that the team was not going to be annihilated, promising to protect the captain until death. He commanded his knight to attack. It moved quickly and struck forcefully at the threads that were in the sky. The attack was working as little by little the threads began to lose tension. Song Changji's attention, who was floating in the air with his arms behind his back, was fixed on it. He questioned whether Hua Yanfei thought that with his spirit and divine sacrifice he would be able to break his threads. He admitted that although he had talent, unfortunately, it was still not enough to impress him. His eyes widened in confusion and his gaze was fixed on Hua Yanfei. Hua Yunfei's eyes began to shine. He opened his mouth and started screaming. His power was becoming stronger and stronger. He was using his vital essence in exchange for explosive strength. Song Changji did not know if this guy wanted to commit suicide. That long after, Hua Yunfei's body exploded into pieces and upon seeing this, Zai Zhenyu's eyes filled with tears and sadness. With this increase in power, the spiritual knight pierced the threads, breaking the net that was in the sky. Seeing that the net had been broken, Song Changji extended his hand and used the technique called Star Weaver, making another net appear, leaving everyone in shock. His eyes began to shine with rage and while he was weaving the net with his fingers, with an arrogant gaze he asked if Hua Yanfei really believed he could break the net by sacrificing himself, calling him stupid and revealing that he could weave the net more than once. He was tired of playing with them, so he decided it was time to kill them. The thread net began to close in, causing the barriers to gradually start breaking, and Zai Zhenyu fell to her knees on the ground. The thread net shattered the barriers into pieces and, in the process, began to massacre the members of Zai Zhenyu's team, causing them terrible pain. While holding the bow with one hand, she placed the other on the ground and, with a sorrowful expression, apologized for having disappointed Jiang. The members of Song Changji's team were joyful to see that he had defeated them so easily. At that moment, the sky filled with black clouds and thunder. Someone riding a phoenix made of thunder began advancing toward them. Everyone's attention was fixed on the phoenix. No one knew what was happening. Just before they could realize it, The phoenix moved quickly and in an instant, passed through the middle of them, electrocuting everyone in the process, making them scream in agony. Upon hearing the screams, Song Chan
GJI turned towards the cliff, and his eyes widened with seriousness and concern. Seeing thunder, he realized that his team of useless people had been annihilated. At first, he thought it was the punishment of thunder, but then he dismissed this theory since the punishment of thunder only struck those who remained still. He did not know who had annihilated his team. The Thunder Phoenix began to fly through the sky, and on top was Jing Chen riding it. With a worried expression, he started shouting and asked Zai Zhenyu to hold on a little longer. Upon hearing Jing's voice, a light of hope appeared in Zai Zhenyu's eyes. She could not believe that Jing was riding a Thunder Phoenix and had come to save her. Jing gave the order to his phoenix to attack. It started moving quickly, electrocuting Song Changji's clones. He was in shock upon seeing such pure power. While Jing was eliminating the clones, Song Changji's attention, who had his arm behind his back, focused on him. In this new era, the heavenly path of this world was very generous with them, with just a single profession change. They had obtained the original classes that countless races in the caverns took hundreds of years to achieve through cultivation. According to him, this was truly unfair and detestable. Jing descended to the ground, clenched his fist, began to stare at him, extended his hand, and gave the order to his phoenix to eliminate the clones, while on the other side, he decided to break the net. He used the power of the divine elephant's body and attacked with a powerful punch, which broke Song Changji's thread net without much effort, creating a great curtain of smoke. Once the curtain of smoke disappeared, Jing observed carefully and realized that the net had regenerated again. He decided not to give up and began to attack with a chain of punches. He wanted to see who was faster, if Song Changji weaving the net or his blows. Not long after, the net finally broke. Jing began to observe him and while pointing at the net with his thumb. With a smile, he said that his net was very slow. Zai Zhenyu, who was holding back the power of the net with the help of her bow, closed her eyes and began to tremble. She could no longer endure. An excited smile appeared on Song Changji's face. He extended his hand towards Jing and admitted that his strength was really good but made it clear that it had been a big mistake to lower his guard. He used the technique called Thousand Threads, making a tornado appear. The tornado began to move towards Jing Cheng. Our boy put his arm in front of his face and in a low voice called Zai Ogia and asked for his help to devour the net, advising him to be discreet. Zai Ogia accepted. Zai Ogia manifested his small dots and little by little began to devour the tornado. Song Changji could not help but feel somewhat confused upon seeing this. He could not believe that the small points of light could corrode his thread tornado. Jing approached Zai Zhenyu and placed his hand on her shoulder. Her eyes widened with surprise and love upon seeing that Jing had come to save her. With a serious gaze, Jing began to stare at Song Changji and asked her to hurry up and go somewhere safe. The Thunder Phoenix began to fly through the sky, massacring and electrocuting the clones. Little by little, the energy of his phoenix was running out, so he asked her to hurry up and leave. Just then, Ning Zan and his men arrived at the area. He was somewhat surprised to see that everyone was here, revealing that today none of them would be able to escape. Upon hearing his voice, Jing and Zai Zhenyu turned around. Our boy's attention was fixed on him, entering into alert mode. But then Jing Washwang and the others appeared and informed Jing that they had arrived. Seeing this, Jing turned around and mentioned that they had arrived just in time. He started running and decided to take care of Song Changji, leaving Jing Washwang to handle Ningzan. Jing Washwang clenched his fists, and while his eyes were shining, he began to run towards him, using his power to make energy fists emerge from his body, which started to approach Ningzan, revealing that today he was going to be his opponent. Ningzan stood still, watching in silence. He jumped, used his power, and counterattacked with a powerful punch, shattering Jing Washwang's energy punches, revealing that his war god body was not going to be enough to defeat him. Jing Washwang's eyes began to shine seriously. He stepped back and, with a penetrating gaze, released the 9 restrictions, causing the chains attached to his body to break. With a furious expression, he stood up and used the technique called Invincible War God's Body. His own giant spirit with 9 arms emerged from his body. Ning Zan remained silently observing. His eyes began to shine with excitement. He extended his hand to one side and used his power, summoning a blood dragon, making a powerful red dragon appear behind him. For him, this was quite interesting. With a smile, he mentioned that according to Jing Washwang's grandfather had killed the dragon race in the underground cave. He wanted to see if his legitimate grandson was as powerful as him. Jing Washwang's spirit and the dragon began to fight each other. Luo Sandao and Mu Hanku arrived at the area. She placed her hands on Zai Zanu's shoulders and with a serious expression asked her to come with them to face the people from the capital. Mu Hanku started observing her and explained that they should not interfere in. Zai Zanu turned towards them and with an indecisive gaze accepted. Jing Washwang's eyes were shining with hatred. While Song Changji was watching the battle, someone caught his attention. He became curious and turned around. The Thunder Phoenix descended to the ground. Jing began to stroke its head and with a confident smile asked if he was ready for combat. Song Changji's eyes widened with excitement. Using his power, he began to absorb his clones and couldn't help but smile upon seeing that Jing Cheng, Ying Zan, Jing Washwang, and Jiayin Zanu, the 4 divine geniuses of Great Xia, had gathered. It was no longer necessary to wait for the genius ranking battle, nor was it necessary to continue pretending to be of their inferior race. He decided to use his 30% power. Upon hearing this, Jing's expression changed and he became suspicious. With a confused expression, he asked what he meant. Song Changji extended his hand. An angel wings emerged on his back while his eyes turned white. With a smile, he decided to release the origin restriction and restore the true body of the Tanking Divine Clan. He used his power and restricted entry and exit to the secret realm. An energy platform appeared under his feet. Jing began to observe carefully and it did not take long for him to realize that the Tanking Divine Clan was one of the 10,000 races of the cave. Upon hearing this, Ying Zan's eyes widened in fear. He turned around and asked everyone to leave the secret realm, but then a powerful energy began to descend from the sky. Jing Washwang fell to his knees on the ground, clenched his teeth, and with a worried expression revealed that he could not move. Song Changji's eyes widened with malice. He extended his hand and with a smile revealed that it was already too late. The entire secret realm was under his control. Now no one could move or leave. And no one from outside would be able to enter. Originally, if they died here, they could still revive outside, but now that he was here and completely refined their divine souls, then no one would be able to revive. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, so subscribe to our channel, share the video, and like. Thanks to the help of the angel wings, Song Changji began to fly, and his eyes expanded with malice, making a confident smile appear on his face. He knew that both Jing Shanji and Jiulingqiu were watching everything from outside the secret realm. He asked what they felt at this moment and whether Jing Shanji remembered when he had killed his sister on the northern battlefield in the cave back then, revealing that today he had come to cut the roots of their great seer. Jiu Kaishan's attention and everyone's was fixed on they were somewhat confused as they did not know how a member of the Tanking Divine Clan had been able to infiltrate. No one could hear what he was saying since the surveillance system had no audio. Someone among them could read lips and finally revealed that an anomaly had occurred in the secret realm. And Song Changji had trapped the remaining geniuses and was planning to execute their strongest geniuses in front of everyone. Song Changji's eyes began to shine with rage, with a piercing gaze. He extended his hand towards Jing and the others and then used his power, making threads emerge from his fingers. Jiu Kaishan's gaze and Zai Zanu's father's gaze fixed on him. The father quickly realized that this was the innate ability of the Tanking Divine Clan called 1,000 Threads. A panic since this ability allowed the user to weave a net with countless souls intertwined like a cursed rope, being especially effective for annihilating divine souls. Jiyu Kaishan became alert as he knew this was not good. Jiying and the others were trapped inside the secret realm and couldn't even self-destruct to escape, and if their souls were erased, they would die. The general of the war zone of the capital lost his composure and with a furious gaze launched a powerful attack towards Yan Gentian, shattering the ground into pieces. He was furious since he had betrayed Dahiya. Yan Gentian put his arms in front of his face and blocked the attack, swearing not to know that Song Changji was a member of the Divine Clan Tanking. The general's eyes began to shine with hatred. He clenched his fist and with a furious expression said that he was going to kill him since Yan Gentian was the only descendant of the human emperor. Their last hope. Yan Gentian stood firm in his word and explained that he had nothing to do with the Divine Clan Tanking, and even if he died, he would not be able to save Yan Gentian. Just before things could escalate to the next level, a powerful burst of energy descended to the ground right in the middle of them. Yan Gentian turned his head toward the burst of energy and the general stopped dead in his tracks. They did not take long to realize that this was the energy of the god of the sword and the god of war. Yan Gentian's eyes widened in surprise as Jiu Lingqiu and Jing Shanji emerged from the burst of energy. Jiu Lingqiu clenched his fists and with a serious gaze began to look to the side. He could not believe that over such a small matter as this, they had already panicked, realizing that they had been living in peace for too long. Jing Shanji, who had his arms behind his back, began to stare at the general, and with a calm expression asked if all of them were going to surrender to the enemy if one day the entrance of the underground cave was attacked and destroyed. The general swallowed saliva, began to observe Jing Shanji and did not say a single word. Jing Shanji approached the king of the celestial sword and fixed his gaze on him. He asked how many offspring Jing Chen's 9 miasma wings had produced. If he had more than 100,000 offspring, then he could use them to cause an explosion that could turn this situation. Fu Caxon's eyes widened in surprise and confusion. With an uncertain gaze he replied that he did not know since he had never asked Jing Chen about it. Jing Shanji's eyes began to shine with seriousness as he remembered that no more than a week ago, Jing had used more than 1 million offspring, realizing that raising 100,000 more was an impossible task. While he was distracted, Jiu Lingqiu approached and with a suspicious gaze said that although it was a shame that the lives of the geniuses were in danger, this was more than a coincidence. Upon hearing this, Jing Shanji came out of his trance and his mind was filled with curiosity and surprise. Jiu Lingqiu explained that the divine tanking race was in the deepest part of the underground cave, and wanting to disguise themselves and come to Dahiya was not an easy thing. He had a vague feeling that similar events were going to take place in other locations. Jing Shanji's eyes filled with concern. He began to gaze at the ground and thought that he was right, but he reminded Jiu Lingqiu that his main body was suppressing the underground cave, so there should be no problems with it. He began to imagine a scientific facility and mentioned that if more related events were going to take place, then it should be at Dahiya's main headquarters. Besides the headquarters, there were also the 9 forbidden zones, such as the Whitebone Temple located deep within Kinling. Jiu Lingqiu felt something, turned around, and with a gaze full of fear revealed that the related events were about to begin. Just then, at the top of the cliff, a red temple appeared, which began to emit an evil energy, and in front appeared a man. Everyone's attention was fixed on the temple. They were in shock, not knowing if this was an illusion. They noticed that the man did not have the appearance of the human appearance, nor the appearance of the living. He was an old man, his eyes began to shine with malice, and a smile appeared on his face when he explained that the appearance of the self was precisely having no appearance, and that when all appearances were separated, they were called Buddhas. He recognized 2 of his old friends and introduced himself as a monk with diamond sutra. Without losing a second, Jiu Lingqiu drew his sword, began to point at the monk with it, and with a furious expression, he demanded to know what the old monk from the Whitebone Temple was doing here and how he dared to come out at this moment to cause trouble. Jing Shanji turned around and his attention fixed on the monk. He began to observe him with a serene expression. A wicked smile spread across the monk's face as he revealed that all the young people here were going to hear his sutra, and would soon attain enlightenment. Jiulinkyu became alert and turned around without knowing what the monk had in mind. Just then, a strange energy appeared in the place, slowly affecting all the geniuses, making their eyes turn white. Seeing this, Jiulinkyu quickly realized that the monk's target was Daji's geniuses. Jiang Shanji knew that this was not good. While his eyes were shining, he began to shout and asked the geniuses to wake up and not fall into the trap. Upon hearing his voice, most of the young people woke up, their eyes widened with surprise and fear, making them sweat. Some of the geniuses did not wake up, while on the other side, a brown-haired girl opened her eyes and with a gaze full of terror began to gasp heavily. The eyes of the boy who was next to her widened in surprise. He placed his hand on his chest and could not help but panic without knowing what was happening. The monk became angry and mentioned that preventing others from understanding the Tao was not tolerated by the celestial mandate, advising them to be careful with divine retribution. Upon hearing this, the attention of Jiulinkyu and Jiang Shanji was fixed on him. Just then, the heads of the geniuses who had not woken up were cut into pieces, the boy and the girl turned around, and upon seeing this, their jaws dropped and their eyes widened in fear. The monk explained that fortunately, the blessed geniuses had already ascended. For him, it was a pity because if Jiang Shanji had not intervened, in just 2 more seconds, more geniuses would have ascended to supreme bliss. Jiulinkyu could no longer contain himself. He gathered momentum and with a leap began advancing toward the monk with a gaze full of hatred. He decided to take care of this demonic monk since when he cut him into pieces, he would not have the strength to attack. He also explained to Shanji that the change in the secret realm was only the beginning and that a single movement could affect the entire body. Asking him to stand firm and return to the cave, Jiang Shanji looked to the side and saw black smoke emerging. His attention fixed on them and he did not take long to realize that a great calamity was upon Dahlia. With a determined expression, he called the attention of all the kingdom's guardians, giving them the order to return to their war zones to defend them, and that there must be no mistakes. All the kingdom's guardians jumped and began to return to their posts. They knew that the general situation was important, swearing to Jiang Shanji to protect Dahlia with their lives and redeem their sins with merits. Shanji's attention, who had his arms behind his back, and Jiu Kaishan's attention were fixed on them, they began to ponder in silence. Jiu Kaishan turned his back and with a gaze full of determination revealed that if Jiang Chen lost his life in the secret realm, once this was over, he was going to follow Jiang Shanji to the cave and annihilate the entire tanking divine tribe. At first, Jiang Shanji remained silent. But then his eyes widened in surprise and something caught his attention. In front of them was a screen showing what was happening in the secret realm. Jiang Shanji and Jiu Kaishan's eyes widened in surprise as they did not know what was going on. Inside the secret realm, Jiang was standing in front of Song Changji, who was kneeling on the ground and bleeding from his mouth. Seeing this, Jiang Shanji couldn't help but laugh, and although he didn't know the reason, it seemed that there had been an unexpected turn inside the secret realm. Now that Song Changji was kneeling before Jiang Chen, they could be at ease. 5 minutes ago, Ying Zan, whose eyes were shining, placed his hand on the ground and gave the order to his blood-armored dragon to attack. Not far from him was Jiang Wushuing, who with a furious gaze, ordered his god of war body to tear Song Changji into pieces for him. Most of them were injured. The attention of Song Changji, who was flying, focused on them. He couldn't help but smile and asked why they were wasting their strength and if they didn't know that the more they exerted themselves, the more they would suffer from the reaction of their own power. He told them not to rush because once he finished refining the souls of the beautiful girls, it would be their turn. He used his power, causing the threads to wrap around the bodies of Zai Shanyu, Mu Henkyu, and Yu Osandao, who opened their mouths and began to scream in pain. Song Changji decided to first break their spiritual forces. Jiang, who had his hand on his knee, began to stand up and his eyes started to shine with rage, making him clench his teeth. Little Nine was eager to eat meat. But Jing asked her not to rush since unless it was absolutely necessary, she could not expose herself. He asked her to wait as he was going to think of a solution. Now that Little Nine was so hungry, she was capable of killing her opponent with ease. However, Jing had made a promise not to use Little Nine in this competition. Jing's gaze fixed on him, apart from Little Nine. He had many cards up his sleeve, but without understanding the opponent enough, he could not be reckless. Otherwise, even if he could protect himself, he would not be able to ensure that his companions did not lose their lives. Song Changji's eyes turned white and a smile spread across his face. Jing used the system, making his status window appear. His real name was Shu Lan Duo and he belonged to the Tianqing divine race, being the 19th heir in the line of succession with a level 6 power. He was acting as a secret agent for the Church of the Ancient God and had descended to Dahlia through an abyssal rift, suppressing the source and disguising himself as a genius with a dual profession. The divine Tianqing race occupied the 61st place among the 10,000 races and was a secondary branch of the three main primordial divine races. Furthermore, he possessed the Tianyan Pearl, which served to block the perception of the heavenly Tao. With a curious gaze, Jing began to think and found a way to defeat this guy. He asked if still had the divine and demonic blood essence that they had previously packed in Jialai's sacred treasure. He asked him to give him a drop. Ekshajia, who was sleeping like a log, revealed that there was nothing left since he had eaten it all. Ekshajia transformed, and while his eyes were shining, he extended his hand towards Jing and mentioned that if he wished, he could extract a drop of blood from his body to give it to him. He added that the blood essence he had refined had the same effect as the original with fewer side effects, swearing that he would not explode and die. Upon hearing this, Jing's eyes filled with joy and a smile appeared on his face. He decided to first use a little blood to break the restriction and save the rest for later. Once Ekshajia gave Jing a drop of his blood, he stood up, and his body began to emit a powerful energy. Song Changji's attention was fixed on him. He was confused to see that Jing could move and did not know how he had escaped from the web of threads. Once Jing stood up, he used his power to summon a barrier. Seeing this, Song Changji couldn't help but laugh without knowing why he had summoned a barrier. He mocked Jing by asking if he was afraid of screaming too much when dying, and that others would hear him, making it embarrassing. Jing stood firm and called Song Changji by his real name, Shu Lando, revealing that he knew about his plans. Song Changji descended to the ground, and while walking towards him, he began looking at the ground and asked who Jing was and how he knew his real name, remembering that the real name of the 10,000 races had never been revealed. Jing's body began to emit a penetrating energy. He mentioned that Song Changji was not worthy of knowing who he was. He put his arm in front of his face upon feeling Jing's strong aura. Without knowing if he was an ancestor of the Ming clan, Jing approached him, and while his eyes were shining with hatred, he began to stare at him and ask how the Tianqing divine tribe had become so incompetent, and how the number 19 in the tribe's succession was so foolish. The eyes of the arrogant Song Changji filled with fear. He panicked as he did not expect that Jing also knew his secret position in the line of succession. He wiped the sweat from his chin and his eyes widened in terror, and upon seeing that Jing knew this, he thought that he had a higher position than the leader of his clan. With a trembling voice, he asked if Jing was from the divine tribe. Jing's eyes began to shine. With a suffocating expression he pointed at him and asked if Song Changji could not feel the aura of the ancient god in him. Upon hearing this, he swallowed saliva, realizing that he was going to be crushed. Our boy was furious and mentioned that the Church of the Ancient God acted too recklessly. He could not believe that they had sent Song Changji here without properly investigating, ruining his plan. For him, the members of the church and Song Changji had to die. Song Changji fell off his knees on the ground, lowered his head before Jing, and begged him to spare his life, explaining that they knew they had made a mistake. For him, not knowing that the god was here had been a misunderstanding, and that the Tianqing divine tribe originally belonged to the primordial divine tribe, which meant that they shared the same roots in origin. He pleaded for Jiang to spare his life. Our boy began to look at him in silence. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, so subscribe to our channel, share the video, and like.